In the next section of your notes, section 2, it says segment postulates and theorems. One big postulate is what we call the segment addition postulate. And postulate is just a statement that is accepted as true without proof. Just kind of like how you can say the sky is blue. You just look up, see that the sky is blue. Just a known fact. And the segment addition postulate states that 3 points are collinear. So A, B, and C. And B is a point in between. Not directly in between, just anywhere in between. Then AB plus BC equals the whole entire segment. So this segment plus this segment equals the whole entire segment. Okay? Well, we can use this postulate on the next problem. On the next problem, we were given that points U, T, and S are all collinear. Okay? We need to find X and ST. Okay? We also know that T is between S and U. ST is equal to 7x, SU equals 45, and TU equals 5x minus 3. Okay, well, there's not a diagram drawn, so go ahead and draw yourself a diagram. Okay, it says T is between S and U, so we know S is one, U is the other, and T is in between them. We know that ST equals 7 times x, TU is 5x minus 3, and the whole thing, SU, is 45. Well, using that postulate we just talked about, we know that part of it, 7x, plus the other part, 5x minus 3, equals the whole entire thing, 45. And then you just solve for x. Okay, I'm going to make a new page to solve for x because I'm running out of room. So to solve for x, okay, we had 7x plus 5x minus 3 equals 45. So to solve, combine your like terms. We get 12x plus 3 is equal to 45. Subtract the 3. Nope. Sorry. So a minus 3. So we're going to add 3. We get 12x is equal to 48. Go ahead, divide by 12. So x is equal to 4. Now make sure you're paying very close attention to your directions because it's saying to find x and it's saying to find st. Okay, well we know that st is equal to 7x. And our problem before was we did not know what x was, but now we do. So you just take x and plug it in. So 4 times 7 is 28. So we have our two answers. And there you go. Okay. Well, we can use this postulate, the segment addition postulate, called the common segment theorem. So if you want to turn to your notes to number 2, the next problem. Okay, we were given in our proof that AB is equal to CD. That's our given. We want to prove that AC is equal to BD. Okay. And it was nice because they have a nice diagram drawn for you. A, B, C, and D. Okay. It's saying that AB is equal to CD. So go ahead and draw those tick marks on your diagram. And we're trying to prove that this whole segment, A to C, is equal to this whole segment, B to D. That these are equal. Okay. Well, we're going to use that 2-column proof below to help us figure that out. Okay. You notice there's kind of 2 columns. One has statements. One has reasons. And the statements, the steps, are already filled out for you. You just have to figure out from your choice of reasons in your notes which one you're going to use. That's what it looks like in your notes. We have to figure out the steps, for the reason for each step. So make sure you're numbering that reason section. And we talked about this before, that your very first step, every single time, your very first reason is always the given, right away. This is AB equals CD. That's what we were given. Okay. And if you notice, the last one is what we're trying to prove. AC equals BD. So right there, there's 1, 2, 3 points you can get on a problem, even if you don't know how to do it on a test or a quiz. 3 points right there. Okay. Our next one, and you notice there's also the reasons there you can choose from on your notes. I just did not have enough room to write them. So go ahead and just cross off given. We've already used that one. Okay. The next one we want to use, it says that BC is equal to BC. Okay. If you go back to that property sheet that we talked about in the beginning of your notes, that's a reflexive property. Again, it's okay to abbreviate. Okay. When something equals itself, we call that the reflexive property. Okay. So that's saying that this right here is equal to itself. Okay. Well, if you notice in the next step, kind of what's different, here's what was in our last step. BC equals BC. And what's different are those. We're adding AB on one side and CD on the other. If you look at your choices, the one that makes most sense is the addition property. And you're probably thinking, well, the addition property is where you add the same thing on both sides. And one side has an AB and the other one has a CD. If you go back to the very beginning, they equal each other. So they are the same, they just look different. So technically, we are adding the same thing on both sides, so that's why we can use that property. Okay. And our next step, okay, AB, right here, plus BC is equal to AC. It's also saying that BC plus CD equaling that whole thing. And that's the property we just talked about. That's the segment addition property. Well, where one part of the segment plus the other part of the segment equals the whole entire segment. That's a segment addition property. And then the last step, even if you don't know what it is, your last option is the substitution property. Okay. Make sure you put an S after the sub so we don't think you're thinking subtraction. So now, the reason why is because AB is equal to AC. Okay? So we took AC and plugged it in to here. Okay? BD is equal to this, so we took BD and plugged it into here. The previous step, it said those two things equaled each other. Okay, so we can say that AC is equal to BD. We just substituted them in. So it's more like we plugged it in here and plugged that in there. There you go.